Hello everyone, welcome back to Coding with T. Today we are going to learn about StreamProvider, and I know some of the people are afraid of using streams, and while also conducting interviews I came across that people are not familiar with streams a lot. So in today's tutorial you will be able to easily understand the logic of streams, and you will be able to also handle streams like a breeze. So let's get started. First of all, as we are using the Riverpod, so we do not have to worry about that if stream is created. Most of the time streams are causing leaks because we forget to dispose them. We are not actually stopping or resuming the streams manually. So while handling streams manually in getx or in simple flutter or maybe in provider, most of the time if it is not handled perfectly, we have definitely data leaks and stream is keep on running. Our processes are working on streams behind the scene and we do not know that what to do. Our application starts lagging. But in the Riverpod we do not have to worry about creation, we do not have to worry about the disposal. Everything will be managed automatically. Once you are not on the screen or the stream is not running right on the screen, it will automatically paused, or you can say it is vanished. It is not running in the background, and when you resume or when you open the screen again, it is right in front of you. So as stream is a one-way traffic, you cannot stop and resume as you wish. So there are no such kind of methods, but Riverpod again handles these things very efficiently. We do not have to worry about, and again we can definitely do the testing easily. Riverpod also caches the last emitted value from the stream and display that value in the user interface. But if you navigate away and back, you immediately see the last data without resubscribing unless you call ref.refresh, which we talked about in the previous video of future provider. So let's start. As you can see, we are creating a complete playlist of Riverpod crash course. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified, and also you can get the complete playlist link in the description or from the right top corner. So without wasting time, head towards the project, and we are inside. Again in section 2 I have created a folder of video 6, and in that we have the video 6.dart, which is an empty class. So let's create a stream provider. First of all, in the stream provider we want to return tickers like a second, like after every second we want to return some value back to the UI, and we want to update the user interface. So we're going to create a stream manually. So first of all, let's create a stream provider. As you know, stream provider or any provider requires a function, so inside we have to use this function. If you want to use the ref object, you can use the ref object like this, because for now I'm not using it. So let's add underscore and a semicolon, and now we have to return something inside the stream provider. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to return integer value. So first of all, let me call stream dot periodic, and now we have to pass the period over here. So add a period using duration, and I want to use the periodic as seconds. After every second I want to return some value, and then also I want to use this function to return this count every time we have the value of this duration. So it will keep on sending us some value. So we have a stream created, a very random stream. Also we have the stream which is going to return periodic values. Right after 1 second we will have the value in the count, and that is definitely going to return. It is an integer type of stream provider. So now let's create a user interface. So I've created a timer screen. We want to display the timer, and I just call extended with the consumer widget. Again, use the widget reference. If you're new, you can watch the previous videos. We talked about each and everything in detail, or if you have any confusion you can ask me in the comments below. So we're going to call the reference dot watch. We again already saw the difference between watch and read. So we have the ticker provider. So this is the provider that we want to use. We want to watch whenever there is change inside the sticker provider. We want to update the user interface. You see, every concept when it comes to the user interface, it is same for every provider. You do not have to reinvent anything new. You do not have to change, or you do not have to memorize anything new. Everything is same, everything is similar. Just for the async value we have other options like when, in which we can handle exceptions, loading, and as we talked about these things in detail in the previous video. So if you hover over this tick async, again you can see it is a type of async value. As you, if you remember the previous tutorial, the previous value was also async value because it is an asynchronous data. So it might require some time. We have to wait for some some seconds, then we will get the data. So that's why it is asynchronous value of type integer. So now again, I'm going to use the same approach as previous tutorial. Dot, I'm going to use when object, and you see we have three things that we can fill. So I've added a loading simply as in the previous tutorial, circular loading indicator, and the error has the error message. We do not need any stack trace, so that's why there is no stack trace. And as a data, we're going to get the count, which is integer. We want to display that count in the text object. So there's nothing new, everything as we already talked in detail about each function in the previous tutorial. So let's this time run this application. Again, I'm going to use the Chrome. So first we also have to use this timer screen in the main.dart. Okay, our application is running and you can see we have the live timer continues, and after every 1 second it is just returning us the next value, which is definitely +1. So the stream is going on, and if we head towards over here, if you remember the previous tutorial, we created a separate class like fake API service. So same like that, I have fake stream service. So let's change it with the timer service. So this time I have only one function, which is a tick function, and I am returning the same logic from this function. And now we are not going to return this as it is from here. Rather, we need to create a provider or the instance of this timer provider, which I'm going to create it right over here. Timer service provider, you can name it anything. It is a simple provider. So let's create a function. I do not need a ref object over here. So I'm going to return timer service, and that's it. So now we have the instance. Why we have this instance? Why we are going to create this instance? I talked about all these things in the previous video. Now we want to use that provider over here. So first of all, we need to call that specific provider, and definitely you have to import this timer service provider in order to use it. So we have that provider. Again, we need to use ref, and using ref.read, we are going to use that instance, and we will call the tick method. The tick method is same as we had already, and after refreshing, you can see we have the timer again started right from 0, and it is continuing. This means it will work. Now inside this class, I'm going to create another function. This time this function is going to return error as well after some time. So it's a timer service. Again, we have to yield the value. This means yield means we are going to return whenever we have this value. So when compiler reaches over here, whatever is inside this I, it is going to return like a stream. So after 1 second, it will return the I value. So after every 1 second, whatever is in the I, like first we have 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and once it is less than 5, it will remain in the loop, and if the loop ends, it is going to throw us the exception. And again, you have to use async static to get the stream values. So this time I'm going to use this method. So replace the tick method with the tick with error method. Again, is a stream, we are using that over here in the UI. Everything remains same. So let's rerun it, and you can see error appears after 4-5 seconds. Let me rerun it again. Okay, so our timer starts after a loading. So we have 4, and yes, you can see exception. Timer stopped unexpectedly because we have the exception. Our application didn't crash. We handle all the cases efficiently. Stream is running, and once there is exception, if you want to modify these things, if you want to again rerun this using refresh button, we can do so. We again have to use previous video, and upon error, I am going to copy this, and instead of targeting this future provider, I'm going to use the ticket provider. So whenever there is change, we will throw the error message, and right next to it we have a button which is going to call the retry, and we will refresh again to trigger this ticket provider, and this ticket provider is again going to start the stream for us. So let's rerun this application. Okay, so it is running, and you can see a loader. Then we have timer going on. After 4 seconds, we have the exception, and we have the retry button. So let's retry, and you can see timer starts again. Again, for this dot when, if you want to see loading, you just have to call skip loading on refresh and return it as false. Rerun it again, and this time it starts running. So after 3 seconds, it should throw the exception. So click on retry, and again you will see the loader, and then timer starts. So our function is working. We have the stream. We tested the exception. So I hope you learned something new. That's it for today's tutorial. See you in the next tutorial. In the next tutorial, we are going to learn that how we are going to pass parameters in providers, and how we can use the auto dispose to make sure that whenever we are not using any of the provider, how auto dispose is going to work. And also we will learn very important async notifiers. So next tutorial is going to be very important. So for today's tutorial, if you have any questions, you can ask me down in the comments. If you learned something new, please like the video, and if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to get notified for upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and take care.